Now the fight over a plot of land in West LA was donated to the U.S. in the 1800s to house old and injured soldiers. But in the 1970s, the Veterans Administration began leasing out chunks of the land to private schools for an athletic field, parking lots, even oil drilling. Nick Watt reports on the latest twist in the battle over that land.
All of this land in leafy, lovely West LA must, said the United States Congress in 2016, be used to principally benefit veterans. But, among other things, the swimming pool and pristine playing fields of the exclusive private Brentwood School remain. The VA's own Inspector General has repeatedly found the school's lease in violation of that landmark law. The VA and the school publicly dispute that. And now there's a new bill before the House that would essentially legalize that lease and curtail the Inspector General's authority.
It's insane that they're doing this.
Begs the question, why? Well, Brentwood School has spent at least $100,000 lobbying in Washington on this issue since January of last year. The school has been a reliable partner to VA and veterans since 1972, providing numerous school-funded services that many veterans and their families have come to rely upon, Brentwood School told CNN. To solidify these important relationships for years to come, we engaged counsel to help navigate the complex legislative process. This latest twist in the long tail of this land began in January with this legislation, sponsored by Democrats, to extend nationwide COVID-era funding for needy veterans, set to expire in May. Republicans balked at the cost.
We currently are working on a package to address the issue. We will work with you, but we've got to actually sit down and work together to figure out the problem of the expense.
That COVID-era funding expired in May. In June, Republicans brought their package to the floor. It's basically the Democrats' bill, plus payment scales for entities that serve vets, and this new controversial section, essentially legalizing Brentwood School's lease and allowing in-kind contributions to count toward the rent they pay.
I don't understand why the West LA leasing and the matters pertaining to the Brentwood School interests in the property are being co-joined.
Absolutely frustrating, absolutely ridiculous that money that could go to support veterans is being held up because some members of Congress want to submit an amendment. It's just foul. It really is.
Congressman Mike Boss, chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee and a co-sponsor of this bill, couldn't find time for an interview, gave us a statement.
This was from Representative Boss. It was Congress's intent in 2016 to keep Brentwood on the West LA campus.
Well, in 2016, Congressman Ted Lieu said that his legislation was to ensure that all leases principally benefit veterans and their families.
This Republican bill was sponsored by a freshman representative, Lori Chavez de Remer of Oregon. She declined an interview. Her spokesperson told CNN she sponsored the bill because homelessness is at a crisis level in Oregon, and her constituents consistently raised this problem as one of the top issues they would like her to address. The next day, she introduced another bill that includes a $500 million VA construction project around her district. Her spokesman says she sponsored that bill because it will help the Portland VA Medical Center expand and make necessary improvements. But back to her bill that would in part benefit Brentwood School. The Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American Legion do not support those provisions, but the VA supports them.
Do veterans in the Los Angeles area support this proposal?
Thank you for that question. There has been veterans in the areas that had voiced that they are not in favor necessarily with that position.
And many of them are frustrated with the slow progress, turning this land once again into homes for the homeless. In 2016, the VA produced a master plan to renovate this rotting campus. 233 units for homeless vets are complete. But, according to the timeline, at least 770 units should have been built by now.
Well, that was Nick Watt reporting. This week there was a groundbreaking for a new building on that campus that will eventually hold 1,200 homeless veterans. But that's years away. Also this week, we learned the number of homeless veterans in LA grew by more than 400 since last year.